She was always.
Okay, we're ready to go. Thank you, everyone, for joining us at Spanish Fork City Council meeting, January 21st, 2025. We appreciate everybody joining us here in Council Chambers in Spanish Fork and online, wherever you may be, or on Spanish Fork Community Network, Channel 17. Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We'll start our meeting like we always do with a prayer, motivational message, and then the pledge, and Councilman Marshall has the motivational message.
Thank you, Mayor. We have two young men from our community that are going to do the prayer and the thought today. Mason Rogers will do the prayer, yes? And Porter Rogers will do the thought. So do we pray and then think? Or
Doesn't
do we
matter.
think and then pray?
Whichever they would like. Yeah, it's up to you guys. You can arm wrestle for it if you'd like.
Dear Heavenly Father, we're grateful for this beautiful, wonderful day, and we're very grateful that we can meet here today, and we're grateful for the freedoms that we enjoy in our country, and please bless that we'll be able to have a productive meeting, and that problems can be solved, and we're just glad to be here, and we say these things in the name of Christ, amen.
Amen. Thanks, Mason.
Thank you.
I've never given a message like this before, so I'll just say I've been living in Spanish Fork for a little over 5 years now. I like this place; it's pretty cool. I'm excited for the recreational center. Go Spanish Fork. I like Utah. Woohoo.
Thank you, man.
Well done.
Appreciate that.
There you go. Thanks. Very motivational. Thank you, guys. Good work.
You know, I can't even fathom being that age and coming and doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was that age, no way I'm talking in front of anybody. No way. I'm crawling in that little hole in the back of there and be like, arms sharing. Great job. Thanks for doing that. I appreciate you volunteering. And Tara, thanks for connecting us with them. So I appreciate that.
Okay, that leads us to the pledge. Councilman Cardin.
All rise and repeat the pledge with me. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mason and
Parker?
Porter. Mason and Porter.
Oh.
Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for doing that. And what you mentioned, one of you mentioned the recreation center. We just had a good work session on that, so you can see it coming along under construction. But pretty soon we'll have a lot more information on details of the recreation center set to open here in the fall. So we're excited too. We know the whole community is excited too, but that makes me excited that youth are excited for it because we want you in there all the time. So it's going to be good.
Did you mean the state of Utah or the school of Utah? Okay, we're good then. All right, you can stay.
BYU guy would have had a problem. Yeah. Okay, that takes us to the public comment section of City Council meeting, where the public is more than welcome to come up and address the mayor and council for anything that you'd like. Please keep it. We clock it at usually around 3 minutes. If you can keep your comments to that, that'd be great. But please come up and address the mayor and council if you have anything to say tonight to the public. You can give Tara your name so we can get it on the record.
Yes, my name is Matt Barton, B-A-R-T-O-N.
Thank you, Matt.
Yes. Hello, my name is Matt Barton, and I'm a 9-year resident of Spanish Fork. After obtaining a new job in Provo 9 years ago, my wife and I needed to relocate our family to Utah Valley. After many car rides and open discussions, we ultimately decided upon Spanish Fork due to the small town feel of the main street, the family-centered city center, the vicinity of the Spanish Fork River and the surrounding mountains, and it just felt right moving here. My family and I have loved our time here in Spanish Fork, so thank you, Mayor, City Council, and other city officials for preserving the feel of Spanish Fork through the city's rapid growth over the last few years. I'm here tonight to not only to introduce myself, but to speak on the topic of maintenance and preservation of the mountain bike trail system above Spanish Oaks Reservoir. Being an avid mountain biker and a coach for the local mountain bike team, I've spent many hours enjoying the early and later editions of the Spanish Oaks mountain bike trails. After 2 record-breaking years in 2000, water years, pardon me, in 2022 and 23, the condition and the safety of the trails at Spanish Oaks were rapidly deteriorating due to water erosion and vegetation overgrowth. In April of 2024, I felt compelled to approach Spanish Fork City after reading the 2021 Spanish Fork City Recreation Master Plan, which only noted the existence of the mountain bike trails in the adjacent foothills above Spanish Oaks campgrounds and nothing concerning the trails' maintenance and preservations. Utilizing the text us feature on the Spanish Fork City's home webpage, I was gratefully put in touch with Bart Murrell and his great staff in the Parks Department to address my concerns and discuss the maintenance and preservation of the trails. Since these early in-person meetings, I'm delighted to share, in full coordination with the Parks Department, and after I organized the Friends of Spanish Oaks Mountain Bike Trails volunteer group, together we've successfully completed 13 trail maintenance service projects with a total of 273 volunteer trail hours in 2024. We had over 70 different volunteers attend from the Spanish Fork and surrounding communities to give back to the trails they frequently use. Plus, of the 273 volunteer trail hours, approximately 40% of those hours were completed by youth riders and coaches from the local mountain bike team. Tonight, I'm happily able to report that all trails received much needed water erosion and vegetation mitigation, and all but one trail loop was fully restored. The trails of Spanish Oaks mountain bike trail system are in better condition today, and the relative safety has been restored. My ask of you, Mayor, City Council, and other city officials tonight is, can we update the city's recreation master plan to include the Spanish Oaks mountain bike trail system with a detailed plan to maintain and preserve this true gem in our city for generations to come? Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Matt.
Appreciate that.
Matt, how many people do you guys coach? How many students are on the team?
Yeah, the local mountain bike team is a composite team of 5 high schools. And this last year we had 220 riders. And we had 80 to 90 volunteer coaches.
Awesome.
And that's between, the surrounding cities, Payson High School, Salem Hills, Spanish Fork, Maple Mountain, Springville. And I think that's it.
And the Spanish Oaks trails are some of the trails that you guys use to practice on.
Yes, it's one of the regular trail systems we use to practice on. That's one thing, is we are limited on the amount of trails that we have here versus other cities that are north of us. And so, we want to make sure we maintain the trails that we have here. This has been a great opportunity for the team to be able to give back to the trails we frequently use.
Awesome. Thank you.
I would just like to say thank you for coming in. Of course, we're not going to hear everything going on in the city, so I liked hearing that you used the text system and got to the right person in the Parks and Rec Department, and that you had a problem, but you also came to them with a solution. And everyone that has a complaint or a problem they can't always fix that. But so thank you for trying to step up and help, and all of those volunteers. That's really cool. Thanks for your time and helping provide a solution to something that you were in need of.
Yeah, it's been kind of a grassroots effort just to help out, give back to the trails that we utilize on a frequent basis.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else for Matt? Matt, thank you. I think we've been taking some notes, and I know our Parks and Rec director there takes notes every time somebody comes up and talks about something under his direction there. So we'll certainly get on that and have something for you, probably in a report in the next council meeting about kind of moving forward of what we could do to make that a more locatable, I guess, item on the plan.
Okay, thank you. Thank
Okay.
you, council,
Thank you.
city officials. Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, appreciate it, Matt. Thanks for
Matt.
coming. Anyone else for public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll go to council comments. We'll start on this end because we usually start on that end.
I know.
Throw a little curveball. I know. I thought you had time. But yeah.
No, I don't have a lot. Just one item. The solid waste district meets tomorrow. First time this year. Attend the meeting and report back next time. That is it.
Thank you, Councilman Marshall. Councilwoman Beck.
Fiesta Days. Our website will go live on February 1st. So I think the biggest thing with that is people that want to start getting their applications in for the Grand Parade. That does fill up usually by May. And it's just first come, first serve. We really try and keep the entries around 100. So if you or your organization, business are interested in getting online and applying for that, February 1st, we'll have the calendar of events for the holidays, and you'll be able to see everything that's going on. That's all I have.
Perfect. Thank you, Councilwoman Beck. Councilman Euler.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have anything to report on tonight.
Thank you. Councilman Cardon.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things. This month we had our airport board meeting at the first of the month. A lot of things going on with our airport. Lots of development. If you haven't been over there, check it out. There is a lot of things happening in regards to just the future of the airport. So if you are a pilot in town or interested in the airport board or what's going on over there, we do meet again in March, the second or the first Thursday of the month at 4 p.m. here in this room. So please attend. That is recorded. Thanks to Travis and his team making sure that that is available to the community. So that's the airport. Yesterday started a 45-day sprint for our legislative session. And so tomorrow is our youth city council will be up there at Local Officials Day, and most of us will be there as well. So we look forward to that. But as the community, pay attention to what's going on. If you hear things, reach out to our legislators or us, and we can, try and pass along, things that we're hearing. But they do listen. Their numbers are out there. They want to hear what you think about different bills and different things coming about. But they do affect us on a daily basis. So make sure you're paying attention to what's going on there. That's all I got, Mayor.
Perfect. Thank you, Councilman Cardon. Councilman Took.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Just a couple things this evening. First of all, I'd like to start by giving some time to our Chamber of Commerce President and CEO, Kathleen Levitt, who's with us this evening.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Just a few upcoming events to report to you all. Tomorrow, we're celebrating our Business of the Month. It's at Access Accident Center. We'll celebrate them at noon. On February 24th, we're cutting a ribbon for Bybee & Co. Realty. They're located in Salem, so we're welcoming a new Salem member. On January 29th, next Wednesday, we've got our annual awards gala. Thank you so much, Landon. We are so close to sold out. We have just a few tickets for any last-minute people that didn't get them, but we're almost completely at capacity. So if you guys want a ticket, there are a few left online, and when those are gone, they're gone. So we're going to have a full house. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it. That will be at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday the 29th. And at noon on January 31st, we're cutting the ribbon for Nothing Bundt Cakes. So we're excited to be celebrating them. Again, on January 31st, that whole day, they're donating a portion of their proceeds of their sales to Tabitha's Way Food Pantry. So make sure you spread the word and get people to go and support them, because we're supporting multiple local businesses that day. So that will be exciting. Speaking of the legislative session, Bills and Bagels dates this year are going to be February 1st and March 1st in the Nebo boardroom. And I have the time. Let me pull it up. It'll be from 7:30 a.m. till 9 a.m. In the Nebo School District boardroom, 350 South Main Street, Spanish Fork. And we'll have the legislative panels on those dates. If you guys have questions, let me know. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Kathleen. And just on the topic of Chamber of Commerce, just a couple of things as well I'd like to add. So as far as the leadership goes for the Spanish Fork and Salem Chamber of Commerce, we recently had some changes with the new year. Mike Rasmussen finished his service as chair and this past year. Then Jason Crowther is the new president this year, the new chair. We have some other leadership positions too we have some new folks in, and I just think it's fantastic, and I'm really excited about this year and this new leadership, and we have a great pipeline of leadership coming and going, so very lucky there. And then, excited about the Chamber Gala as well here on the 29th from 6:30 to 8:30, so please get your tickets. Lastly, just a couple thoughts. Just wanted to give a shout out to our police and fire departments for their just great efforts with our recent snowstorm we had. I had to navigate around town that morning, and it was pretty crazy if you were here. And I just saw them do some pretty impressive things and heard about some things, and I just feel like we're very lucky to have a fully staffed fire and an EMS team and police as well. Just do incredible things. So thank you, Chief and Eddie. I know who's not here this evening, but grateful there. And we also had an amazing police awards banquet. So thank you for that. That was wonderful to see all the amazing things that have happened this past year with your department. So
we had 26 accidents that our officers responded to on Saturday.
26.
I think that's a record.
My God. Wow.
Haven't had snow so long, people forgot how to drive in it.
Well, thank you very much for keeping us safe and taking care of us. That's all I've got, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Took. I'll piggyback just on that, just a hot second. That the government. We always say the government closest to people usually governs best, and that doesn't mean your local elected officials are always the best. I could tell you some stuff about Kevin that would, he'd be but no, what it means is the government that close to the people is usually meaning most engaged with the people and affects our lives on a daily basis. So when we talk about the cops and the firefighters that go out and help us on accidents, it's because it's a bad snow day. And so I guess we just need to remember that theme a little bit in the new administration in our country federally. Where I was busy watching the TV on Monday because I had the day off and was waiting for a college football game to come on, and there was things all day long about the new administration, new president and new vice president, and it kind of brought home and was a good teaching moment, I guess, in our home of what happens at the local level, that who really does come when you need people, who does the daily services that really affect our daily lives. And I saw a post of one person that said, you know what, we're here, these people have been elected, President Trump and President Vance, Vice President Vance have been elected, and so now I'm taking down this flag and I'm just going to leave up the American flag because we're all Americans. And I thought that's a pretty good statement. I think that leads well into what we do as Spanish Fork residents, the home of pride and progress. We can disagree and we can have different views and different viewpoints, but in the end, what are we? We're members of a community that come together and make it better. And so remember that as we lead into the new next 4 years of a presidential administration that, yes, obviously does get more face time than your local politics and your state politics, but those really start to affect your life if you take an inventory of how your life's affected. That's what really affects our lives on a day-to-day basis more. So again, let's all be together as Spanish Fork and remember that. Remember where we live and take care of each other. Okay, that's all I have, Mr. Manager Perrins. Anything for the staff reports, following up on some items?
I don't believe so.
Nothing from previous council meetings? Okay, all right. Okay, that takes us to the consent item portion of our agenda, items A through D. For consent, anybody have any questions about anything on the consent item? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the consent items.
I move to approve the consent items A through D.
Motion made by Councilman Cardin.
Second.
Seconded by Councilman Took. Roll call vote here. Councilman Took.
Yes.
Councilman Cardin.
Yes.
Councilman Euler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
And Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
Consent items are approved. Takes us to new business, A, B, and C tonight. First is a resolution for UMPA board designees. UMPA is the power organization that we belong to with other cities here in the county. Their board of directors, we hear a lot about Rocky Mountain Power. That's the biggest power provider in our state. But UMPA is our local power provider that we can join together with cities and direct public policy, power policy to. Jared, are you here to speak for this? Oh, you're going to.
Hey.
Okay.
I can come up front if you'd like.
Right
I
there's
just
good, Corey.
Figured
There's
there
good.
wasn't much on the screen to point at or
Perfect.
such. So each year, UMPA asks that we just create a resolution. Even though this year we're not really proposing any changes to the seats in here, we show Mayor Mendenhall as a member of the board of director with an alternate of Jake Tyre, and a secondary alternate, Councilwoman Beck, and Jake on the technical committee with Garrett Elmer as the alternate. So
Perfect. Those are I've got some official language here that Tyler was good enough to send me. So these candidates that have been put forward, those are who I'd like to designate, but probably what I haven't done before. Does anybody have any questions? I know it would be awkward to question Stacy in front of everybody, but usually it's somebody that's not here. But anybody have any questions about that?
So we can question you?
You can't question me. No,
Okay, so don't question either of us. Any other questions?
No questions.
You've heard. I will tell you before maybe having this council vote on it. UMPA, as you start to hear state level discussions that are going to be front and center this year with power. UMPA plays a very important role in that. The discussions of how much generation it takes to power, especially what everybody likes, AI now, takes a huge amount of power to make that happen. And so the state itself, not just Spanish Fork City, but the state is being inundated by that. And so to be able to facilitate that power is a big discussion that UMPA is in part of and going to be a big part of going forward. So important board of directors positions here. So I would entertain, just as what Corey mentioned there, those be the designees of this board. And if there's no questions, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve the UMPA board member, board of directors, and technical committee designations.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Euler, seconded by Councilman Marshall. Roll call vote here. Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
Councilman Euler.
Yes.
Councilman Cardin.
Yes.
Councilman Took.
Yes.
And Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
Item A is approved. Takes us to B, a similar thing here. Manager Perrins, do you want to speak to Central Utah 911 at all?
Yes, I was going to go down there, but I'll just be like Corey today.
Okay.
We have our board, the Central Utah 911 district that we belong to, provides dispatch services for much of Utah County. And I have been serving as the board representative from Spanish Fork City with current assignments, including some associated with the legislative session. I've felt like I wasn't able to do everything to the best that I could, and it'd be better to have somebody else go. Tyler has served as my alternate. So with that, this resolution would suggest that Tyler and I just switch places, that he be the primary and I be the secondary.
Did Tyler have a say, or did you tell him that was happening?
He said yes.
Okay.
I actually called 911 right after he
It went through. It's an important position. Again, Seth's talked about that before here as well, but important. This is down by the county jail facility, just in Spanish Fork there, but important continuity that goes with on that board for all of us to have our calls answered in our time of need. It's super cool place that I didn't tour until last year, really, but
yeah, great facility, great service they provide to all of our emergency services, police, fire, EMS, emergency management, etc. Every city needs one, and some kind of a dispatch, but our borders are not that far apart, right? And so having a Spanish Fork one dispatch service and a Salem dispatch service really is not efficient. So combining like we have and having those services as we do, it makes us more interoperable. Maybe is a good word, right, Chief? Where we can interact with all of South Utah County very, very seamlessly and more effectively, cost effectively. All told, we spend, I want to say, about $400,000 a year on the service. It grows a little bit every year, but about $400,000, which would be the equivalent of,
That's our share.
yeah, just a couple of employees in addition to the facilities and whatnot. So it's a lot more cost effective how we've done it.
There's no other questions about that appointment. I would entertain a motion to appoint Tyler Jacobson to serve as the director and Seth Perrins as the alternate director.
I move to approve the resolution making appointments to the Board of Trustees of Central Utah 911.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Cardin, seconded by Councilwoman Beck. Roll call vote here. Councilman Cardin.
Yes.
Councilman Took.
Yes.
Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
And Councilman Euler.
Yes.
B is approved. Takes us to C, the resolution supporting 100 South and I-15. Mr. Corey Pierce is coming up to the mic this time. All right.
Apologize for the confusion of not coming up
That's all right.
earlier. So recently, as I think you're aware, UDOT has performed an environmental assessment for an interchange in Spanish Fork at Center Street. They looked at many options, landed with Center Street. As part of the discussion, it was the crossing of I-15 and 100 South. In different scenarios, and especially early on, they were showing that crossing being eliminated, which is something concerning. And Jack, if you'll pull up the slide. Yeah, there is a slide. This looks a little busy, but this outlines all the crossings across I-15 from SR 77 or 400 South in Springville, as you might know it, down to 1900 South or the Benjamin interchange. And as you can see on the north end of town, those crossings are spaced 1.5 miles-ish, and that's pretty problematic. Working in Public Works recently, boy, when we need to get to the other side of I-15, you're either going up into Springville and back around, or you're coming down to 1000 North through all the traffic. I think it's the same thing as you think about the police and EMS. Getting around both sides of I-15 in town is pretty challenging. So then as you move down into town and you look at Main Street and 300 West, 400 North, you see 0.5 mile or slightly less than that. If you look specifically at 100 South, between 4th North and 900 South, if we didn't have 100 South, you would have over 1.5 miles and quite a few residences. We also have some of the agricultural fields on the south end of town. East of I-15, they use 100 South quite often to get to fields and other things on the west side. So this resolution is just declaring support for 100 South. The environmental assessment with Jared representing the city and pushing hard does show 100 South remaining, but with a lot of back and forth on that and knowing that will be a challenge when they go to physically build things. I think this just clearly puts Spanish Fork cities and the councils strong support of keeping that crossing there just to provide access and ease of moving people and getting to emergencies and such throughout town. Any questions? I'm looking at Shane because I brought Jared tonight because of the hard questions he's here for. So,
Thank you, Corey. Any questions for Corey or Jared on this? I know we discussed this a little bit at our last meeting.
Can I just make a comment?
You bet.
Okay. Thanks, Corey.
Yeah.
This is I think what we asked. This is what I asked for. I think the whereases are spot on. When we get to the I can't say it. So.
Declaration of Independence.
He said of support. Is it possible to have 2 of those so that we can identify specifically one of them is for the crossing and one of them is for the preferred alternative?
Yeah.
It seems semantics a little bit, but the next project there is the UTA project.
Vaughn is standing by, knowing that like, let's have the discussion and let's
Ready to
add, yeah, we'll add
type it
to anything more that we want.
I would like the section 2 or another support paragraph that specifically addresses 100 South. So it's basically just put it and. What I don't want it to be buried into is the preferred alternative necessarily. I want it to stand alone as we believe that 100 South, because of what Corey just said, which is spot on. If you don't have that, it is a long way around. And as we talk about adding residents on the west side of I-15, it's going to be extremely important to maintain these crossings. So I think it applies for UDOT's project. It will apply for UTA's project. Yes, they have a larger challenge to keep it open, but the sediment is still there, and I want to make sure that no one picks this up and stops at the council supports just the preferred alternative. I want to make sure it's very well identified that it's both of those things. And I know no one else cares but me, but this is...
So what we've kind of set up here is, let's get this discussion. To us, we want to, if we're going to say we care about something, we want to say we care about the right thing. So Vaughn's tweaking as we're going along. Section 1, declaration of support. Spanish Fork City strongly supports the preferred alternative of the interchange at Center Street. Number 1.
Yep.
Section 2, continued open crossing of 100 South. The Spanish Fork City Council strongly supports the continued open crossing of I-15.
Crossing I-15 near 100 South.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't have to be added. It just, we want to continue that crossing somewhere near I-15. Yep.
You don't want that tied to the preferred alternative.
It's built into the preferred alternative.
Oh, it's drawn in as part of that anyway.
But I want it out because if maybe they moved away from the preferred alternative at some point, but they made
then that still stands as.
I want it to stand by itself, because to me that's one of the biggest drivers of this thing, and I want to make sure that UTA could pick up this document and understand our intent, which is we support the interchange, yes, but we can't live without 100 South.
So there are some scenarios, and I think you're saying this, Shane, and there might be a better way to say it. I don't know that there is. But I think this is what you're saying. I'm not saying that I have a better way than saying 100 South. So today we know the crossing, it goes under the freeway in a westerly direction equal to our first south.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some plans that show some drawings that maybe it doesn't go west. It actually goes kind of north because it goes this way and it flies over. A question that I have for you, and I'd look at Jared and Corey as well, is do we care if it goes this way or if it goes that way, but it's in this general area that is First South today? And because if we do, then we want to say we want it this way or we want a crossing. I don't know, but I think if we do have an opinion, then let's express it.
Sure. I personally don't have an opinion about what happens on the west side necessarily, where it goes today. It's fairly open. I don't know how I would weigh in on where I want it to go.
Yeah.
For this particular one, I care that there is a crossing of I-15 near 100 South, so that we get that in, and the engineers of the world figure out exactly where that might go.
Do we loosen it up then and say strongly supports the continued crossing of I-15 at or near 100 South, but south of Center Street? And
So you get
north,
both of them?
well, yeah, because I don't think what you're saying is the Center Street is
Center Street
good enough.
doesn't count.
Correct.
That's not what you're saying,
That's not
right?
what I'm
And
saying.
that's not what Corey or Jared would say. That's not what I would say.
Yep.
So I want a crossing, or at least I want to say we want a crossing that is in addition to a Center Street, but it's south of Center and it's north of 9th South.
Works.
Something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. I don't want to tie someone's hands
Yeah.
that it has to be there necessarily, and if UTA figures out a way to, they have to move it to maintain it, that works for me as well.
Yep. Yeah, because I think I'm sensitive to that challenge. Like, I don't know how to solve it either, but I want it. You want the mouse now? I didn't even use it. I just messed it up and then went back.
Well, that makes sense because as you're doing new roads over there, the drawing might be that it lines up better perpendicular to the freeway than the weird slant that it's got now.
And they can design a road so today it goes this way, but tomorrow maybe it goes that way. So then this road just connects to that one, and then I can get over that way, right? If I don't know which scenario is best, and they got to deal with the railroad tracks. Number one, right? But you can just get rid of that page break in there. Double click on that spot. No, just in between the pages. Yeah, double click right there. Spanish Fork City Council strongly supports the continued crossing of I-15 at or near 100 south of Center Street. Is that good enough? Does that convey the?
You say north of 900 or whatever.
I don't. Yeah, with how it's written here, how Vaughn's got it here, I don't know that we need to say that. But if we want extra clarity,
You
we
wanted
could.
to make sure it wasn't combined with center.
Correct.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, you're saying, basically, you're saying we have 10, we want 10 in the future.
Plus one.
Yeah. Okay.
Because, yeah.
Okay.
Because I'm going to get
Because you
Center
get Center
Street.
Street as well.
Yeah, and as far as I know, Center Street's doing that.
Mhm.
So, okay.
I might take off continued open at the first of that thing, and just crossing of 100 South, period. This is our support.
I would get rid of the second crossing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would cross out that crossing.
Wordsmithing at City Council.
I did say, Vaughn, this is what I'd like to do, and Vaughn's face was a little like, really?
I can imagine.
I said, how about we not have you typing on the screen, which we generally did, so that was good. Okay. Here's the resolution.
Questions? Any questions about that modified resolution?
Looks good.
Okay.
Thank you for your patience, Council.
Yep.
I appreciate
Yep.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that reads better. Okay, I like it. With those adjustments, I'd entertain a motion for item C.
I move to approve the resolution supporting 100 South and I-15.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Took, seconded by Councilman Marshall. Roll call vote here. Councilman Cardin.
Yes.
Councilman Euler.
Yes.
Councilwoman Beck.
Yes.
Councilman Marshall.
Yes.
And Councilman Took.
Yes.
Okay. Item C is approved. Thank you for that good work. Appreciate that, Vaughn. Okay, no closed session tonight, I believe. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Anything that needs to come before the council before we adjourn?
Not yet.
I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Cardin. Tiebreaker goes to
Not our
Councilwoman
best,
Beck.
but maybe top three.
All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
We're adjourned. Thanks for joining us.
There is no requirement for a school class that you have to be at a certain time. If you make it to the end, you made it.
You picked the right one.
You picked the right
Pick the
meeting.
right one.
Welcome.
It was worth a couple minutes of speaking.
Spanish Fork
To not
City
be
is
here
the
till
best
noon.
city, isn't it?